There's a moment in Philip K. Dick's 1968 novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, in which the bounty hunter Rick Deckard wonders whether empathising with his android prey has put him at odds with the rest of the human race. He wondered, writes Dick, if any human has ever felt this way before about an android. That feeling of being out of sync with the world is a key element both of Dick's novel and of the film which followed, a film which was both behind and ahead of its time, which looked back to the future and redefined the way in which cinema would imagine the shape of things to come. It's a film which has been called everything from a fascinating failure to a cult classic, which looks more and more like dark prophecy as the years roll by and we move ever closer toward the edge of Blade Runner.
I'm going through the eye of a needle when I'm making a movie. I'm writing it, and you're either with me or you're not.
If only you could have seen what I've seen with your eyes. Yeah.
The filmmaking experience was wonderful. The film dealing experience was about as unpleasant as it can be.
I'd go onto the set and I'd be in another world.
The American people are basically anti-intellectual. They're not interested in novels of idea. And science fiction is essentially the field of ideas.
Philip K. Dick is really one of the great unacknowledged writers of our time. He was a Californian, and he wrote against the grain of what was currently accepted in the way of science fiction. Science fiction at that time was full of bold heroes going out into the universe, conquering planets, conquering whole solar systems. And there was this extraordinary man, Philip K. Dick, writing about really what was happening to him and to the drug culture in California with just a little twist of lemon.
This is the house in San Rafael where Philip Dick wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, one of a group of stories optioned during his lifetime that finally made it to the screen after his death. Like so much of Dick's fiction, it shot through with a surreal paranoid psychosis that seemed to echo his own state of mind. But with its futuristic bounty hunter theme, it also provided the basis for a saleable sci-fi screen romp, or so it seemed to actor-turned-writer Hampton Fancher.
Philip K. Dick was a bit of a chimera. He was a bit of a monster. He was a bit elusive. You know, he was very appealing. I mean, he was very intelligent. He was very self-centered, kind of egomaniacal. He would do odd things. When he was talking to you, you got the idea that he was like theatricalizing him. Anyway, Hampton, so he was getting a message from the gods.
Phil, who had also made no bones about the fact that he had taken a lot of amphetamines early in his career to keep up the pace of being able to write as prolifically as he did, and had kept doing that for over a decade, it really became my conclusion that Phil, to a certain extent, was suffering from classic amphetamine psychosis.
It didn't seem stupid at the time because he was so brilliant. He was really smart. He was he was a scholar. He knew a lot of things, but he dramatized himself, and I thought he was kind of crazy.
The police once told me that I was a crusader, and they had no use for crusaders, but unfortunately they didn't tell me what I was crusading for. I was afraid to ask what it was I was a crusader for, and they told me that if I did not get out of the county, I would be shot in the back or worse some night.
Really, the impetus of that novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, were some Nazi diaries that Dick had come across while doing research at the closed stacks of the University of California at Berkeley in the library. And he was reading the journals of an officer, an SS officer, who had worked in one of these camps. And one of the entries really caught his attention, and the entry was, The screams of children keep me awake at night. And from that little seed, he began thinking, this person is not human. He cannot associate what he's just written. In other words, he's being bothered by the fact that they're exterminating all these thousands of people around him, and he can't get a good night's sleep. So from that, Phil inferred that basically these people weren't human. The Nazis were a synthetic organism. They were completely dissociated from human intercourse. And I think that really is what the spur of the entire Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep Blade Runner story started out as.
He acted, I said to him, in fact, I said, you act like I'm some guy with sunglasses and a cigar who's come up in a convertible trying to take advantage of you. I'm not. I'm trying to get you to make this movie. And he kept kind of dismissing that idea of Blade Runner, Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. And the last time I saw him, I was leaving. And I'm usually not this forward about these things, but I said, you know what? I'm not coming back because I don't think you like me. You really, in fact, I think you don't like me. And he said, no, you're wrong, Hampton. Hampton, you're wrong, you know. And he was kind of effusive at that moment, but I didn't go back.
Despite Philip Dick's paranoia about America in general and Hollywood in particular, Hampton Fancher finally succeeded in fashioning a screenplay based on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. This script, which would be retitled Dangerous Days and then Blade Runner, was eagerly adopted by Michael Dealey, producer of such varied fare as The Italian Job, The Deer Hunter and The Man Who Fell to Earth.
I liked, for me, the originality of it. It was brand new stuff. It was plausible. I still think it's plausible. It contained a vision of the world which was possible. And I thought it was incredibly exciting, and would be exciting on screen. Ridley was ideal in one respect, well, many respects, but one particular respect, which is that he has got the best eye of anybody directing film that I know about. I mean, anybody. And if you want to make a picture which looks stunning, as this picture had to do, then the best person you could get is Ridley.
Something personal happened in my life. My elder brother died, and I, to coin a phrase, freaked out, felt I had to go to work immediately. And so I called Michael and said, you know that film of Hampton's, I'd like to do it. And so I went to Hollywood. And what I thought would be a fast, fix emotionally, I'd get involved in something, wasn't. And that developed into 7 months of discussion every day with Hampton coming to my house in LA, going through the pages blow by blow.
It wasn't until Ridley came in that it became an exterior film, a film that had a world. It was in hotel rooms, it was in basements, it was a $9 million movie that was all about interpersonal relationships.
Enhanced 224 to 176.
The thing about Hampton's screenplay was it was too enclosed within the confines of an apartment. The focus was, for me, how do we expand this film from your vision, which is internal. I want to follow Deckard outside. When I go outside, the world we see had better support a world that can actually reproduce human beings. And that's how it expanded. There was a moment where there's burnout with any writer. And Hampton, I think, said, I give up, I can't do this anymore. I need time out. And at that moment, I'd also been reading